What's up, guys? Over the past year with the 3.0 subclasses, there's been two exotics in the game that have been kind of dominant in PvE, one being the Starfire Protocol and the other being the Heart of Immo's Light. While the Heart of Immo's Light got nerfed this season along with most grenades in the game, somehow Starfire Protocol not only didn't get touched, along with fusions, it actually got way better this season and is by far the best exotic in the game now. So if you haven't seen Starfire before, just quickly reading what it does. Fusion grenades have an additional charge and recharge from empowered weapon damage. Fusion grenade kills grant rift energy. And ever since the Solar 3.0 rework, this exotic has been extremely strong, pairing it with this fragment right here on Warlock, where our fusion grenade will now detonate twice. So looking at the game, these fusions do a lot of damage they always have. Just throwing two grenades at Carl do almost 66% of his health just with the grenades alone, and then you put down your Empowering Rift, shooting a target and dealing damage will quickly recharge your grenades, and over boss fights, anchor, whatever it is, you always have basically infinite fusion grenades. Nothing has changed there, same as it always was. But over the past year with this build and this exotic, because you have to use Empowering Rift and you're using a fusion grenade, not a healing grenade, there was really no way to heal or proc restoration, and now there's ways to do both. So first, with the Ember of Resolve, Solar Grenade Final Blows cure you, and what that means is whenever you get a Final Blow with your fusion grenade, you will get a huge chunk of your health back instantly, which gives it a great form of healing that it didn't have before. And this has already saved my life and kept me from wiping hundreds of times just in the first week alone. Not only do our fusion grenades heal us, defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite with the Ember of Searing Fragment, and with our fusion grenades, they apply Scorch along with the Ember of Ashes. They will apply even more stacks of Scorch to targets, so now when we get Final Blow with our fusion, we'll create a fire sprite which will be on a 5-second cooldown, and picking those up will give us a huge chunk of our grenade back, whoever decided to make the Solar One's grenade. I'm not sure what you were thinking, but along with that, we could also run Ember of Mercy. When we pick up the fire sprites, we'll gain restoration, and this will only be for 2 seconds, which I think is worth it just for a quick burst of healing. But if you really want to build into the restoration, you would also run Ember of Empyrean, where Solar ability Final Blows will extend the duration of restoration. I'm not quite sure if running both of those two fragments is worth it, in my opinion, so I don't run them, but you could if you want restoration. Another thing that is way better about this build now this season is before, most mods in the game, for example Elemental Wells, or even perks like Wellspring and Demo, did not work with the second charge of an ability. So before, it really wasn't worth it or necessary to make a build around the Starfire Protocol, because if you were working on your second grenade charge, picking up Wells would not return energy. But now the mod system definitely works with both charges of your grenade, which means not only is it worth to make a build for it, you can get your grenade back a lot faster taking advantage of all these new mods. So even higher uptime on your grenade for journal play and even boss fights with the Starfire Protocol now. And that brings me to the last thing that got way better about this build this season is with Ember Torches, where your powered melee will make you and nearby allies radiant. This has always been a really good buff, but now when you're radiant, you can also pierce barrier champion shields and stun them, along with the fusion grenades applying Scorch. With the Ember of Ashes, 2 fusion grenades will cause ignition, and ignitions will stun unstoppable champions. So now the subclass with those fragments have a built-in way to cover 2 of the 3 champions in the game. All you need is Overload, and this season there is Overload AR and SMG along with Bow, and I definitely prefer to use an SMG. Preferably one that is void with Wellspring or Demo. I have the Wellspring every waking moment, but once it's the Duality Dungeon, I plan on farming the void SMG there with Demo, because I think that one will be a little bit better. So now with the Solar subclass for unstoppable champions, just simply put down your Rift and just chuck 2 grenades at them. The second one will stun them, then throw a third, maybe a fourth, and they'll be dead, without even having to use any ammo at all, just purely from your subclass. Then for barrier champions, all you have to do is save your powered melee for either them or a nearby target to become radiant and just pop their shield. One thing to note is you can't do it with your SMG, because the SMG is already overload. It cannot also be anti-barrier, so you have to use your sniper, heavy, whatever it is, to break the shield. So now looking at the build I use on Starfire Protocol now, first on our helmet slot we have 2 Ashes to Assets to get our super extremely fast, 1 Void Siphon, then I also have a Void Loader, a Grenade Kickstart, and Firepower. Then we have Charged Up, Arc Reserves, then whatever resist you want. Then I have Stacks on Stacks, Innervation, and 1 Absolution, Double Bomber, then 1 Distribution. And this season in the artifact, there's a few perks that are definitely helping this build. The first one right here, Solar Surge. Collecting a Fire Sprite gives you Armor Charge, and with Stacks on Stacks, that'll give us 2 Armor Charges. And then also the Volatile Flow, picking up an Orb of Power grants your Void weapons volatile rounds, making our Void SMG just that much better. So now with this build going on, we throw a grenade, it'll get a Final Blow, creating both an Orb and a Fire Sprite. Picking those up will give us 4 Armor Charges, which means when we throw our next grenade, we'll get about 50% of it back instantly, which will once again create an Orb and a Fire Sprite. Pick them up, once again, 50% back. And it's basically an infinite combo without even taking advantage of Starfire Protocol or Rift. And in the off chance that you do not get your full grenade back from this combo, all you have to do is put down your Rift, which will give you a huge chunk back of your grenade through the Double Bomber and Distribution. And if needed, do a little bit of damage with your weapon to proc the Starfire Protocol. And next thing you know, you'll have both grenades back and you're ready to continue the combo even more. While all this is going on, you also have weapons, you know, which with the Void SMG, you have volatile rounds, which are extremely strong. And with Demo or Willspring on the weapon, there's another way to feed back into our grenade. And one of the most surprising parts of this build is just simply how fast you can get your super back. I think with Ashes Assets, the tier of the enemy determines how much super you get. So with activities with a bunch of majors, which still will instantly get killed with the fusion grenades, you get your super so fast. I think in the battlegrounds I've seen it like come back within 10 seconds, and you can easily get your full well back before like your current one even expires. It is pretty crazy how fast the super recharge is. And that is my journal play build. I also have another one for boss fights where I swap over to more boss oriented mods, the first being heavy ammo finders. Then I also have arc loader now for my heavy. Then on my chest piece I have double arc reserves to get up to 10 rockets with my hothead. Then on my boots right now I have triple arc surges. I'm not sure if I want to run 2 plus a kinetic. I haven't decided yet, but either 3 or 2 in 1. Then on my class item I have double time dilation along with frontal restoration to get tier 10 recovery. And there's all kinds of ways to combo the fusion grenades for DPS. The one I like to do is shoot 2 hotheads, reload it, use the grenade throw to animation cancel to the Izanagi, shoot it, reload, and do the same thing back to the hothead. And with the damage of your weapons along with Wolfpack rounds from your teammates, you should have infinite grenades to be able to throw them whenever you need to swap weapons. So yeah, not only is Starfire Protocol as good as it ever was, it actually got better this season while a lot of other things in the game got worse. Not only is it one of the best actor builds in the game, it's arguably the best for boss fights, also heals you now, automatically works for 2 of the 3 champions in the game, gives you infinite of arguably the best super in the game. It's really easier to name what this isn't the best at in the game than it is to list the things it is. And I'll definitely be playing on this build in day 1 raid. And yeah, let me know what you think about Starfire Protocol right now. Do you think it needs to be nerfed, or do you think it's still fine as is? Anyways, like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.